Months had passed since that night of fire and chaos, and Seoul had returned to its relentless rhythm. The city alive with neon, rain-slicked streets, and shadows that whispered secrets no one dared to speak aloud. But for Layla, life had slowed to a hollow monotony. Every day at the hospital, she treated injuries, saved lives, and yet felt a gaping emptiness that no medicine could fill. She believed him gone. Taeyang, the man who had stormed into her life with danger and desire intertwined, was a ghost now. She replayed memories relentlessly, his hand brushing hers in. Quiet moments, the stolen kisses, the fierce protection he had shown her. And in her heart, she clung to hope, though she could not admit it even to herself. Then, one rainy evening, a message arrived. A simple note slipped under her apartment door, and signed, with only 3 words, "I'm still here." Her breath caught. Every rational part of her mind screamed caution, yet her heart, aching, desperate, alive, whispered a single word: him. Meanwhile, Taeyang remained hidden, his body slowly healing under the care of loyal allies who had sworn to protect him in secret. Every scar on his body was a reminder of what he had endured, every ache a testament to survival. He had watched from the shadows, ensuring Layla's safety without revealing himself. Yet each day without her burned like fire in his chest. The city around him continued its indifferent chaos, unaware that a love more dangerous than bullets had endured the storm. The message had been his doing. He needed her to know he was alive, needed her to feel the pulse of hope that had sustained him in the shadows. And when Layla found it, tears blurred her vision, her fingers trembling as she held the paper against her heart. She did not know where he was, nor how he survived, yet the simple truth, he was alive, made her world tilt on its axis. Her longing became action. She reached out to old contacts, traced whispers of underground movements, and began piecing together signs that he might still be out there. Each clue, subtle and dangerous, pulled her deeper into the shadowed world she had tried to escape, a world of gang loyalties, secrets, and vengeance. And then, in the darkened corners of Seoul, their paths nearly crossed. Taeyang, observing from the rooftops, saw her searching the streets with that fierce determination that had first drawn him to her. His heart raced. He wanted to run to her, to embrace her, yet he knew revealing himself too soon could endanger her. Every second of waiting was agony, but patience, he knew, was survival. That night, rain poured like a curtain between them and the world. Layla, soaked to the bone, stood on the edge of an alley, reading the faint signs of someone's passage, feeling the weight of absence and hope colliding in her chest. Taeyang watched from the shadows, every fiber of his being drawn to her, aching to step into the light and claim her hand once more. Their reunion had not yet come, but the seed was planted. Ghosts of the past, their memories, their love, their shared pain, whispered between them like the wind through the rain-soaked streets. And though they remained separated, a single truth held firm. Fate had not finished with them. Love, like fire, lingered in the shadows, waiting for the moment it could ignite fully. And as the city slept unaware of the storm brewing between two hearts, both Layla and Taeyang felt it. An unbreakable pull, a promise of reunion, and the certainty that their story was far from over. The shadows whispered, the rain fell, and the ghosts of the past set the stage for a love that would defy danger, betrayal, and time itself. The city of Seoul thrummed with life, its neon glow reflecting on rain-slicked streets, masking the dangers that lurked in every alley. For Layla, the nights had grown longer and quieter, filled with restless dreams and the ghostly memory of Taeyang. She moved through her days mechanically, saving lives at the hospital, yet every glance at the cityscape reminded her of the man she could not forget, the man she believed she had lost. And he was out there. Taeyang had returned, not openly, but like a shadow that moved unseen. Every night, he reclaimed parts of the city that had once belonged to him, eliminating rival gang operatives with calculated precision. His body still bore scars from the explosion that had nearly ended his life, but his mind was sharper, more determined than ever. Each move he made was a step toward ensuring that no one could ever threaten Layla again, and a step toward reclaiming the love he had been forced to leave behind. Layla began noticing subtle signs: footprints in the dust, messages whispered in the underground, a fleeting shadow on a rooftop. Each hint pulled at her heart, mixing hope with terror. Could he really be alive? Or was this some cruel trick of memory and longing? Her heart ached with the uncertainty, yet she could not ignore the pull that drew her deeper into the shadows of the city she thought she had left behind. One rainy evening, she ventured into the alleys, searching for answers. Her instincts, honed from months of training and necessity, guided her steps. Every sound made her flinch, every shadow made her pause. And then, for the briefest instant, she saw him, Taeyang, silhouetted against the dim glow of a street lamp, watching her with eyes that spoke volumes. Their eyes met, and in that moment the world outside ceased to exist. Layla's breath caught in her throat, emotions flooding her. Relief, longing, fear, and love all tangled into one overwhelming wave. Taeyang felt the same, his heart pounding, every instinct screaming to rush to her side. Yet caution tethered him to the shadows. He could not reveal himself fully yet. The danger was too great, and her safety always came first. Instead, he left a mark, a subtle symbol they had shared before his disappearance, a promise of his presence and survival. Layla's hands trembled as she recognized it. Tears blurred her vision, but she smiled through them, her heart daring to believe once more. He was alive. He was still hers. That night, as the rain fell harder, their connection deepened without a word spoken. Taeyang observed her from the shadows, every movement, every glance, every breath filled with the same love he had carried in the months of exile. Layla, unaware of his exact position, felt it too, a presence, a force, a pull she could neither see nor resist. The city itself seemed to conspire around them, danger pressing in from every side. Rival gangs had sensed his return, whispers spreading like wildfire. Each act of vengeance, each subtle reclaiming of territory, escalated the threat, putting both of them in peril without either knowing the full extent. Yet, even in this darkness, the bond between them grew stronger, fueled by longing, survival, and the undeniable force of love. By dawn, Layla returned to her apartment, heart racing, mind awash with the certainty that he was still alive. And Taeyang, watching from the shadows, allowed himself a small smile. The shadows had returned, and with them, a love that could not be denied. A love that would push them both to the edge of danger and beyond. The stage was set. The game had begun anew, and this time the stakes were higher than ever. Seoul had never seen shadows like these, and the reunion of two hearts forged in fire would change everything. The night air was thick with tension and rain, the streets of Seoul glistening under neon lights, reflecting the chaos of the underworld that had quietly shifted in Taeyang's absence. He moved like a shadow, silent and lethal, every step calculated, every breath measured. Months of recovery had honed his body into a weapon once more, but tonight it was not just survival that drove him. It was Layla. Layla had followed the trail of whispers, symbols, and fleeting clues he had left behind. Her heart raced with each step, each flash of memory urging her forward. She did not know if she would find him alive, if he would forgive her for believing he was gone, or if the world would allow them to stand together even for a moment. And yet, the pull between them was irresistible. Their first encounter came abruptly. A rival gang had set a trap, and Layla stumbled into it, her heart leaping as she found herself cornered by armed men. Just as panic surged, a figure emerged from the shadows. Taeyang. His movements were fluid, lethal, precise. Each strike incapacitated a threat, his presence magnetic and terrifying. Within moments, the alley was clear, and he stood before her, breathing heavily, rain plastering his hair to his forehead, eyes burning with intensity. "Taeyang," she whispered, her voice trembling with a mix of relief and disbelief. "I told you I'd find you," he replied, his tone low, edged with emotion he rarely allowed himself to show. His hands, roughened by months of survival, gently cupped her face, tilting it so their eyes met. For a heartbeat, the world ceased to exist. The danger, the chaos, the months of separation vanished into the rain-soaked night. And then the kiss, tentative at first, a testing of boundaries, but quickly growing into something fierce, passionate, and desperate. It was a reunion not just of lips, but of hearts, of two souls that had been torn apart by fire and fate, now finding each other again. Layla clung to him, feeling the strength in his arms, the steady beat of his heart, the undeniable proof that he was alive. Taeyang, in turn, drew strength from her courage, from her unwavering loyalty, from the love that had survived impossible odds. After a long moment, they pulled back slightly, foreheads resting together, breaths mingling in the cold night air. I thought I lost you," Layla confessed, her voice breaking. "You can't lose me?" Taeyang whispered, his fingers threading through her hair, brushing rain from her cheek. "Not now, not ever." Even in their joy, danger was never far. Rival gang members had caught wind of his return, and their attack had been only a prelude. Taeyang quickly assessed the situation, scanning for threats, calculating their next move. Layla, though shaken, remained at his side, her resolve unwavering. "We face it together," she said, echoing words she had once whispered in fear and love. Together, they moved through the city, a duo forged in fire and shadow. Each step was a delicate dance between passion and survival, intimacy and strategy. Their hands brushed constantly, their glances lingered, and every stolen touch reminded them of the months spent apart, the longing, the fear, the hope that had kept them alive. By the time dawn broke over the city, painting the streets with pale gold light, Taeyang and Layla found a rare moment of calm. They were exhausted, bruised, soaked, but together. The reunion had reignited something more than romance. It had rekindled their shared purpose, their unbreakable bond, and a determination to face the world side by side. As they stood on a rooftop overlooking Seoul, the city stretching endlessly before them, Taeyang brushed a strand of wet hair from Layla's face. "No matter what comes next," he said softly, "we survive. Together." Layla smiled through her tears, her hand finding his. "Always," she whispered. The shadows around them whispered of danger, but the fire between them burned brighter than any threat. Their reunion was complete, yet the battles ahead would test their love in ways they could not yet imagine. Seoul had a way of hiding secrets in plain sight. Even in the bustling streets, danger could lurk behind a friendly smile, and loyalty could dissolve with the slightest whisper. For Taeyang and Layla, months of reunion had brought them closer than ever, yet the shadows of betrayal were creeping ever nearer. Taeyang had begun rebuilding his empire quietly, eliminating rival gangs and reclaiming territory. Each move was calculated, precise, and silent. The only witnesses were the ghosts of his past and the heartbeat of Layla beside him. But even as they celebrated small victories, whispers began to reach Taeyang from within his inner circle. Secrets that suggested someone close to him had turned traitor. Layla noticed the tension before he would admit it. His jaw clenched more than usual, eyes flickering with suspicion, every word measured. One evening, as they shared a quiet dinner in a hidden apartment, she took his hand, fingers brushing gently across his knuckles. "Tay, what's wrong?" she asked softly. He looked into her eyes, the storm within him reflected there. "Someone close, someone I trusted, has betrayed me," he murmured. His voice was steady, but the darkness behind it betrayed the depth of his anger and pain. Layla's heart pounded, but her resolve did not waver. "Then we face it together. Whoever it is, we'll handle it. I'm not leaving you." Days passed as they delved deeper into the betrayal. Layla proved herself more than a healer. She became his confidant, his partner in uncovering the traitor. She navigated the dangerous underworld with courage, following leads, questioning allies, and confronting threats head-on. Her intelligence and fearlessness amazed Taeyang, making him realize that she was no longer just the woman he loved. She was his equal in every battle. The revelation came suddenly. A trusted lieutenant, someone Taeyang had considered family, had been feeding information to the rival gangs, including the group responsible for his near-death experience months ago. The betrayal cut deep, but it also gave Taeyang clarity. With Layla's help, he set a trap, one designed to expose the traitor and ensure the safety of their empire. The confrontation was tense. Taeyang faced the traitor in a dimly lit warehouse, Layla standing close, her hand on his arm, grounding him. "I trusted you," Taeyang said, his voice low and dangerous, eyes burning with a fury that could ignite the night. The lieutenant tried to speak, to justify, to plead, but Taeyang's silence was a promise of retribution. Meanwhile, Layla watched, a mix of fear and admiration in her gaze. She saw the weight he carried, the responsibility, the anger, the pain, and yet, she also saw the man who had saved her, loved her, and trusted her with his secrets. When Taeyang turned to her, the smallest of smiles brushed his lips, a silent acknowledgement that together, they could face anything. That night, after the threat had been neutralized, they found a quiet moment amidst the chaos. Rain poured outside, tapping softly against the windows, a gentle contrast to the violence they had just survived. Taeyang held Layla close, their bodies pressed together, sharing warmth and solace. "I couldn't have done this without you," he whispered, brushing a damp strand of hair from her face. "You've become my strength, Layla, my anchor." Layla smiled, resting her forehead against his. "And you're mine, always." In that intimate moment, trust had been tested, betrayal had been confronted, and their love had emerged stronger. The world outside might remain treacherous, but within each other's arms, they had found a sanctuary, a bond that no lie, no threat, and no enemy could break. As dawn crept over the city, painting Seoul in shades of gold and gray, Taeyang and Layla stood together, ready for whatever the shadows might bring next. Their love had been tested, and it had endured, a blazing fire in a world that sought to snuff it out. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel so you can see more videos like this.